Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be doing is week 7 of my NFL games recap. If you're brand new to the channel, I kind of do a review every single week, kind of review every single game, give about 30 seconds to about a minute long review, just kind of running down, kind of reviewing the game of how it went, both sides of the ball, what each team is looking forward to the regular season, and so on. So without further ado, I won't talk much here in the intro. If you're going to enjoy today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got the Thursday Night Football game. We had Jaguars-Saints. It was a good game, don't get me wrong. The Saints pretty much lost it in the end. I thought Jaguars had good offense. Defenses weren't really there for either team, but the Saints, they had the opportunity to go try to win the game in the end. They had the great catch by Michael Thomas. We thought this was going to be it. Maybe they can get some rhythm going, momentum going. They were going good. And then I think it was like 3rd and goal from like the 6, 7, 8 yard line. Derek Carr kind of lost it up in there. It goes to, I think it's Foster Moreau is the name of the guy. He drops the ball. It's a sad thing. He has a great story of how he kind of battled back from, I believe, cancer, trying to get back into football. But at the end of the day, he dropped the ball. 4th and goal, they tried to do like a fade ball to Michael Thomas. Didn't catch it. Game was over then. But like I said, both offenses, I think, played decent. Jaguars offense was cooking with fire, with hot oil. I think when it comes to the Saints, they just threw the ball too much, I think. And it felt like the Saints offense, they were out there quite a bit throughout the game. Yeah, looking at time of possession, 36 minutes compared to 23 minutes. And like their offense couldn't do jack shit. Going forward for both teams, look at the standing. Jaguars have a chokehold right now in the division. I think Houston might actually be able to bounce back. Indianapolis is looking pretty good, so I'm not going to say their division's wrapped up just yet, but Jacksonville's looking pretty right now. And then whenever it comes to New Orleans, it's anybody's game to win that division. Because right now, Atlanta is 4-3 leading the division, and I don't even think they're a good team. Next up, we got the Browns and the Colts. I am a Browns fan, so if you want a full breakdown, like completely long breakdown of this game, I already did a full breakdown. Annotation will be right there of me kind of going through a full breakdown of this entire game from my point of view as a Browns fan. But to kind of summarize the game, it was good offenses, good defenses as well. And you're going to look at the score and say 39-38. Where was their defense? Well, when the Browns defense basically scored 17 points, theoretically, yeah, good defenses were in that game. Even though the Colts let the Browns score 39 points, the Colts defense was high-flying, moving around. Colts offense was running the ball all over the place. The big thing for the Browns was they were making their field goals, and Myles Garrett fucking took over. If those two things weren't happening, this game would be a whole nother story. And then we'll kind of fast forward to the very end of the game. The bullshit pass interference call. I'm a Browns fan, and I even said when I was watching the game, I was sitting there watching it with family, and I said to everybody, that's a bullshit call. That should not have been called. Like, it almost feels kind of dirty to, like, accept that penalty. When I look at the Colts offense, they're going to be without Anthony Richardson for the rest of the season, but hey, Gardner Minshew, he played really fucking well. So for any Colts fans that are probably, like, upset and thinking this season's over, we're screwed, hey, Gardner Minshew, he can ball. If you get him on the right day, he'll be a good quarterback for you. But moving on, looking at the divisions, like I said earlier with Jacksonville, I think they have a little bit of a chokehold in this division. I think the Colts are still going to be able to bounce back and try and keep up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, they're 4-2. They play, I think, Seattle next week. So if they beat Seattle, you're 5-2 with a backup quarterback. You're looking like a team that can compete for a Super Bowl when you're doing that with backup quarterbacks. Next up, we got the Commanders and the Giants. Snorefest. I don't really want to talk about this because I'm probably going to throw up if I talk about it. Commanders, they were supposed to have a revamped offense with Eric Bieniemy. It's like a very up and down road with them. And it seems like they want to show their life at the end of the game. What's going on there? The Giants have been playing without Daniel Jones the past, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But Tyrod Taylor has stepped in, and he's playing pretty well. He's basically doing everything that they wanted Daniel Jones to be. Don't turn the ball over, make smart throws, and use your ability to throw the ball in those like tight windows when you need to, not all the time. Saquon Barkley's running the ball really well. And then when it comes to Washington, their defense has just not lived up to the hype. And if you heard the presser from Jonathan Allen, I'm thinking there's something going on in Washington. Looking at both teams in the division, I mean, both teams are not probably going to make the playoffs. Definitely not winning the division. Wild card, I don't really think it's going to happen. Could they make a late run here over the next couple weeks and just surprise everybody? You got to prove it to me. But I think both their seasons are done. Next up, we got the Raiders and the Bears. This game, I expected to just be a boring 13-6 kind of victory. But it turned into an actual offensive game from the Bears. They didn't have Justin Fields today. I think he had a dislocated thumb or broken thumb, something like that. And the Bears offense actually played really good. I say this all the times whenever it comes like a quarterback having to step in, a backup quarterback having to go in, and then they play good, and then the star quarterback comes back, and then they're like struggling. And the question I always ask is, it seems like the play calling from backup to star is like they take from the backup, they give you a little bit, they give you some easy stuff, help you out, And when it comes to the superstar, they're just like, nah, you don't need a play call. Just go do your thing. And I feel like if they were going to actually help Justin Fields, they would help him, you know, treat him like a backup if they have to. Give him the easy play calls. Give him the easy stuff, because clearly it worked with this Tyler Bagnett, however you say your name. I think moving forward, the Raiders, we already know they're not that good. Defense is okay. The defense does not look great here in this game, but I think they'll bounce back. When it comes to their offense, Jimmy G had a back injury, old man issues, I guess, and they were starting Brian Hoyer. They, I think, do not have any answer at quarterback, and Josh McDaniels, you might be counting your days before you get fired, bud. Moving on, Kansas City, I think, kind of has a chokehold on the division, a severe chokehold. Vegas is not going anywhere this year. Could they somehow stumble upon a wild card team at like 8 and 9 somehow if the AFC bottom tier just turns into complete trash over the next few weeks? Maybe. And then whenever you look at the Bears, 2 and 5, nah, they're not winning that division. But when you look at the NFC itself, like the bottom, I think the Vikings, they're currently 3 and 4, and they, I think, are like 6 in the wild card ranking. So anything can happen. Next up, we got the Bills and the Patriots. This was a funny game. I thought the Bills were going to win this game very easily because the Patriots have just not looked good on offense, and their defenses have also sucked. I think Josh Allen still played a decent game. Mac Jones, though, he really showed up. I think over these past few weeks, Mac Jones has just looked like pure dog shit. He's been benched a couple of times, and everybody has all over, even the New England media, has been saying he needs to go, fucking cut his ass, bench him, do something, get him the fuck off the field. People were saying Bill Belichick needs to be fired, and I think if everything just like built up, and it exploded, either whether it was in the locker room, the front office, and the Patriots said, fuck this shit, we are going out there and getting a win. When it comes to the on-field play, I think both teams play pretty good on offense. Defense has stepped up in big ways in a couple of moments. Patriots got an interception, Bills got a fumble, and I actually thought the Bills were going to win this game. When they had that late touchdown with like a minute 30 something to go, I was like, that's it, that's a wrap, they won. But somehow Mac Jones was able to lead a drive down the field, get the touchdown to the man who does the worst gritty possible, Mike Gesicki, and somehow they win the game. Looking at the standings, I still don't think, I mean, good win for New England. You're playing for some heart. Got Bill Belichick, I believe, 300th win. Congratulations. But 2 and 5, they're not going anywhere. Buffalo, they're 4 and 3. Miami's 5 and 2. Buffalo already has a win over Miami, though, so I think they're still in good position to possibly still win the division. Falcons and Buccaneers, 16-13. With this game, I think the only thing I really want to discuss is why the fuck did Bijan Robinson not play the entire game until like a few minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then they took him out or sent him out there for 1 carry of 3 yards. After the game was over, I believe I read up on it, and it said he was sick. So if you're sick and you haven't noticed, why was he even dressed the entire game? Like, he was literally dressed the entire game, didn't do anything, and then they decided with like 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, hey, go out there for a carry. Why? If you were sick, why are you even out there in pads? At halftime, if you felt like, oh my god, I am like just so sick right now, go into half, take your pads off, and just lay down in the locker room while the game's still going on. But to get back on the on-field action, Desmond Ridder, he did kind of okay. The only turnover he had was whenever he had literally an easy walk-in touchdown, and he like acted like he was just gonna jog in, have his fun, and then boom, ball gets knocked out, touchback. I think Arthur Smith was about to lose his shit. Looking at the Buccaneers side of things, Baker Mayfield, Baker did Baker. He shows you some flashes, but then he also shows you why he's Baker. Both defenses played really well, but I think it was like 2 minutes to go. The Buccaneers had a chance to win the game, to like go get a field goal and everything. It was 13-13, and I believe Baker, that's whenever he ended up, it was either he turned the ball over or he had an open receiver and he just missed them. And obviously Falcons got the ball back. They drove down the field, got their field goal, they won the game. But I'm going to keep on saying it until I die. Baker is going to Baker. Everybody jumps on this hype train of Baker Mayfield and thinks that he is going to lead you to the promised land. He's going to be the best quarterback ever. And then he shows you why he wasn't basically considered to stay in Cleveland. If he was a super uber talented quarterback, we would have given him the money regardless of that injury. But looking at the standings, like I said earlier, I don't know how the fuck Atlanta is even at 4 and 3. I think it's going to come back to haunt them. They're going to be probably like what Washington was a couple years ago during COVID when they made the playoffs at 7 and 10, and everybody looked at them like, why the fuck are you in the playoffs? I think everybody knew coming into the season that this division was going to be the worst division ever. They were the same thing last year. Carolina 0-6, New Orleans 3-4, Tampa's now 3-3. This is going to be a fun division to see who wins this year. Detroit, what the fuck happened? Baltimore wins 38-6. I'm so confused. I was thinking when this game came on, let's get the popcorn out. It's going to be fun. We're going to see some fireworks. Maybe it's a 27-30 victory. Maybe it's a 14-10 victory. Whether it's offense or defense, I don't care. This is going to be a fun fucking fight. And it wasn't even the end of the first quarter, and I was like, am I watching the right game? And it's weird because 6 points, that's all Detroit got. But somehow when you look at their numbers, I mean, Goff got almost 300 yards. Amon St. Brown, he was cooking. Looking at the Ravens, the defense, obviously with the Lions not scoring anything, the Ravens defense played really well. And when it comes to the Ravens offense, Lamar Jackson is him. We've been saying it forever. His offensive line looks a lot better this year. And his receivers, surprisingly, can catch the football. Nothing more really to say in this game. Looking at the divisions, Detroit is going to probably win their division. I'm going to say like 95% sure they're going to win the division. And when it comes to Baltimore, this division I think can be anybody's game because we could look at this right now and say Baltimore, they're going to win the division. They're going to coast right to a division victory. But anything can happen. I'm a Browns fan. I'm going to be a little biased for my Browns. But the Browns, they could show up. Cincinnati, we thought they were done after 0-2. They could pop off and start winning some games. Pittsburgh, they're going to Tomlin their way into some wins here over the next few weeks somehow. How far will they go? But I think right now, Baltimore and Detroit, they're both in good spots. And for anybody that's saying the Lions, this is a sign that they are not a good team, I'm going to say it was a bad game. It was a bad game. They ran into a buzzsaw. I think they'll bounce back. We got the Steelers and the Rams, 24-17. For anybody saying that the Browns technically somehow cheated through that pass interference call, what the fuck was that 4th and 1 call? Because when you watch the call and watch the game, you literally see Kenny like go for the first down and then he falls. And the ball was like in his left hand, I believe. And like right here is the first down. Right here was the ball. He was a good like half a yard short. And whenever the refs ran the chains out, that ball was not marked at the same spot where Kenny fell down. Because when they marked that ball and that chain got pulled out, Sean McVay even was like, he had the same face as all of us that didn't want the Steelers to win. He's just looking up at the board and he's like, that ball is not in the same spot where he fell down. But looking at the game, I mean, both defenses play good. Rams offense is like so up and down. It's like you never know what offense you're going to get with them. But when it comes to Puka Nacua, played his heart out. He did good. When it comes to the Steelers, their offense is like so weird to understand. It's like the first half, they sucked. Second half, they start playing better. I feel like when it comes to the Steelers offense, if you can shut them down in the first half, you're already off to a good start. But if you can come out there in the second half and you can get a turnover, everything changes for them. Because we've seen it in a couple of games already this year. When you get a turnover on them in the second half, they go done. They're done. They don't have any heart left. But when you're not getting turnovers and they're able to move the ball down the field, they're getting a couple of first downs, they start to feel some momentum. They start to feel life and they get a rhythm going. If you can stop that, you have a chance. Looking at the standings, like I've already been saying about the AFC North teams, Pittsburgh, they're going to Tomlin their way into some wins. I don't know how the fuck they keep doing it. And then when it comes to the Rams, San Francisco has now lost 2 games. We'll get into San Francisco here in a second. But Los Angeles, they could still fuck around somehow win this division. Wild card, there's a good shot. Division, I don't know, but there's a shot. Next up, we got the game that I don't think anybody watched, Cardinals and Seahawks. I'm not really going to talk about this game that much because I didn't really watch it that much. I don't know what kind of happened. But looking at the scoring summary, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he got a touchdown, first touchdown of his career. Great job. Cardinals, they do their same thing every single year, or every single week, I mean. They score the touchdown in the first half. They get some life going, and then the second half comes, and they just get ran out of the building. That boy, Jake Bobo, I saw the highlight of it. He scored that touchdown, and that was I don't even know how he caught that ball. Moving on, I think the Seahawks have a really good defense. Offense is a little bit up and down, but they'll figure themselves out as the season goes on. Nothing else to really say about this game, other than I think the Cardinals are pretty much just openly tanking. They're trying to get Caleb Williams. And when it comes to Seahawks, they're going to be a wildcard team this year, 100%. And when you look at the standings, it's looking like Seattle's probably going to be a wildcard team. Maybe win the division if San Francisco keeps on fucking around and losing. But like I said with Arizona, they're just openly tanking. We got the Packers and the Broncos, 17-19. This was actually an entertaining game. We had a lot of field goals in the first half. Nothing really action-wise. But in the second half, we started getting some touchdowns on the board. The touchdown from Jordan Love, where he hit one guy's hand, popped off, went into another guy's hands, and he like fell down and just barely caught the ball. That was ridiculous. But let's go ahead and fast forward to the end of the game. Jordan Love, what the fuck are you doing? It's 3rd and 20. You need a field goal to win the game with like 3 minutes to go. It's 3rd and 20 from like, I believe, the 45-ish yard line. Obviously, with the defense, they're going to back up. They're trying to get to the chains. They're trying to keep you from getting there, obviously. But when you snap the ball, I think you had like 2 posts going, and then like you had like 2 just like clear out routes. Like they're just kind of there for checkdowns. Jordan Love elects to throw the deep ball with 2 safeties down there. The second that hand moves forward, the camera pans out and it's going to show, obviously, the receiver down there trying to catch the ball. But when he pans out, you look over and you see a wide open, I think it was either their tight end or their running back, A.J. Dillon. He was wide open, standing about like the 45-yard line. If he would have just thrown it to him, the nearest defender was like 15 yards away, yet easily could have gotten at least 10 more yards. Get it to 4th and 10. It's manageable from then. And if you want to kick a super long field goal and try and win the game that way, knock yourself out. But at least you had another shot to go get a first down with maybe only 10 yards to get rather than the 20 yards. I think Jordan Love is going to be a very questionable quarterback of if he's going to be the star quarterback for this team in the future. So far, it's not looking like it. And moving on to the Broncos side of things, defense played better. Russell Wilson, you're still not cooking. You're still not cooking. Looking at the standings, Green Bay, not division winners. Probably not going to be wildcard winners. And there's a real shot. I've heard some news saying that Matt LaFleur might be on the hot seat for being fired this year. And then whenever you look at Denver down here, yeah, they're not doing anything this year. Next up, we got the Chargers and the Chiefs. This was actually an entertaining game in the first half. When we got the second half, though, I fell asleep. No, seriously, I think everybody fell asleep. I mean, you look at the stats right down here. First quarter, field goal and field goal. When you look at the second quarter, like, holy shit, touchdown, 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 touchdown. You're thinking, this is going to be an awesome game. But then the third quarter came, nothing happened. Fourth quarter came, we got another touchdown, luckily. But by then, it was like just garbage points. Chargers were done. If I was going to break down this game, I would say Patrick Mahomes, he went off. Travis Kelce, he went off. Obviously, he had to because Taylor Swift's in the house. But when it comes to Justin Herbert, he is like, I feel bad for him in some ways, but on other times, I'm like, it's kind of your fault, dude. I mean, you threw 2 picks, but then again, at the end of the game, 17-24, you still have your chance to win the game. And it just feels like at times, the clock management, the situations where it's like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, what play calls need to be sent in. Everybody is like not on the same page with that team, it seems like. And when it comes to the Chargers defense, Brandon Staley, he used to be a defensive coach. Correct me if I'm wrong. He used to be the defensive coordinator for the Rams years ago, right? And I would think he'd be calling the defense for the Chargers. Well, let's look at some of the stars he's had over the past few years with the Chargers. Yeah, Joey Bosa. He has Khalil Mack. He had J.T. Jackson there for a while, but now they just traded him back to New England. Derwin James. I think Kenneth Murray is still a linebacker for the squad. And somehow this defense just plays like shit. I mean, I want to say they're like 31st in pass defense. I won't talk about the Chargers that much, but when we talk about the Chiefs, great offense. Offense is slowly kind of getting better over the first couple weeks. The offense wasn't that good. They were a little sluggish, but they're slowly kind of get the rhythm going. Defense, on the other hand, those years when they've been winning the Super Bowl, the defense was not the strong point. Like, they were okay, but they were not the strong point. Now, holy fuck, that defense can play. If that defense can keep on playing as good as they are right now, that might be a Super Bowl winning team. And then looking at the standings, Kansas City, like I said earlier, they're winning the division, 100%. Chargers, it's anybody's game when it comes to the AFC wildcard, but they're going to need to get a rhythm going now. And if they don't, Brandon Staley, you're going to get fired. Next up, we got the Dolphins, the Eagles. Entertaining game. I thought that was fun. Tua, here's the problem with the Dolphins. They beat up on the bad teams, and I mean beat up on the bad teams. But when they play good teams, they're the ones getting beat up. Now, do I think this is a bad sign or a bad game for the Dolphins? Same thing with the Lions earlier. I think this is just a bad game. Tua played okay. He didn't play this greatest game. Usually the Dolphins are a running team. They like to run the ball as well. They didn't get a run game going really that well in this game. I thought both defenses made good stops there throughout the game. When it comes to the Eagles, they ran the ball well. They threw the ball well. They had everything kind of moving for them well. And then that tush push, man, you can't stop it. I mean, I think they tried it 4 times. 4 for 4. The most funniest one, in my opinion, was whenever it was, I believe, A.J. Brown got the ball thrown to him. He went down at like the 1-yard line. It was originally ruled a touchdown, and it's like it goes to review, and I'm sure the Dolphins fans, whenever they ate downs, the ball will be placed at the 1-yard line, not a touchdown. Dolphins fans were probably thinking, yes, now they got to go get the touchdown. Okay, we got a chance. All Eagles fans were probably thinking, you either give us the touchdown now, or we're just going to go ram it right up your throat. And when that ref said no touchdown, the fucking Eagles said, hold my beer. Jason Kelce, here, snap the ball to me. Jalen Hurts said hut, jump right through, and it was like a bulldozer just going through. I think moving forward, the Dolphins are fine. The Eagles are good. Eagles are looking like they're ready to go back to the Super Bowl. Dolphins, there's a few things they might want to fix. They need to get tougher. This team has seems like they're a very speedy, agile, athletic team. When those type of teams, I've been told, play these tough squads, they don't fare well. And yeah, looking at the standings, I think Dolphins, they're going to come forward for a clash with the Buffalo Bills in Miami, I think later on in the year. And then whenever it comes to Eagles, I mean, they'll probably win the division. As long as they don't fuck up and do anything stupid, they are probably going to win the division. And then we have Monday Night Football. We have the 49ers and the Vikings. Like I said earlier with the 49ers, they're finding ways now to lose games. It's starting to get serious. And when it comes to a bad game or bad sign, now it's starting to turn into a sign. When you play the Browns, bad game. Bad game. But now that we've seen it 2 games in a row, and now I'm being told that Brock Purdy is actually going to be missing the next game against the Bengals. There's a little problem going on in that team. Brock Purdy's making mistakes now. He used to just never make mistakes. He did everything right by the book. But now in 2 games in a row, he's got 3 interceptions. He's not getting the balls kind of where it needs to go in the clutch time. When it comes to both defenses, I think both defenses played really well. Vikings defense, they were eating after Brock Purdy, and they were shutting down their run game pretty well, except for the first half. First half, Christian McCaffrey was running the ball really well. But in that second half, they were doing everything they could to shut it down. I thought Kirk Cousins played a very, very exceptional game. First quarter, I think is when it was. He threw that 1 interception. After that, he was lights out. I'm pretty sure after the game was over, Kirk Cousins went into that locker room. He went and did his little, you like that, you like that. You know what, Kirk Cousins? I do like that. That was a good game. I think moving forward, like I said, for the 49ers, it's looking like a bad sign now. And now you're starting to get some injuries happening. Brock Purdy's going to be missing a game. Fred Warner did get hurt in the game. I don't know if he's going to be probably out for any games or not. Deebo Samuel, I think, had to miss this game as well. And Christian McCaffrey, he's dealing with his oblique. So in the years past, when the 49ers had these injuries, this is why they didn't go anywhere. When they stay healthy, they win. And clearly we are seeing they are losing because they have injuries. And then looking at the standings for the 49ers, if they can get healthy, they'll bounce back. But until then, it's looking rough. And then for Minnesota, I mean, I think it's still Detroit's division to lose. Detroit's going to win their division, I think. But could Minnesota show up and somehow fuck around, win, get it into the wild card? There's a good chance. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. That's my full kind of breakdown of Week 7 games here in the NFL season. If you had a different opinion on kind of how all the games went, maybe you're a fan of any of these teams and you want to kind of drop your opinion on kind of how your team did down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. And you kind of want to leave your opinion, maybe it's the same as mine, different, let me know down in the comment section down below. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much, and you went on to enjoy, make sure you do drop a like. And if you're a fan of the content that I am posting here and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post a new video here on the channel. But without further ado, this has been Dallin Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.